We've all been there, scrolling through BookTube, looking for a new fantasy to read, and everyone's recommending the same thing. That's why I've decided to start this new monthly segment where I take a look at upcoming fantasy releases and shine a spotlight on the ones that don't always get the love they deserve. I counted 99 new fantasy books hitting shelves and e-readers over the next few weeks, and I've narrowed it down to 10 potentially hidden gems that deserve a place on your radar, starting with
The Moor Witch by Jessica Curry. Our main witch, Rose Pryor, is what's known as a weaver. She literally stitches spells together with a thread and needle, which is great until you realise that every spell she sews is actually killing her. Enter Lachlan, the Fae ex-boyfriend from hell, who pops up like an emotionally manipulative tax bill. He drags her to the moors to repay an old debt because apparently the Fae invented student loan. There she meets Conrad, a brooding lad with a tragic past. Naturally, she becomes his governess because, of course, she becomes his governess. It's Jane Eyre meets ACOTAR, but with more sewing injuries and less people pretending they're fine.
If you like your fantasy dark, romantic, and ever so slightly damp with a bit of a Scottish tone, The Moor Witch is available now. Bring tissues and maybe a raincoat. And if that doesn't tickle your fancy, then why not try out
Turns of Fate by Anne Bishop. It all starts when a young detective named Beth Fahey is sent to investigate something called a ghost gun, which is either a paranormal weaponry or the next Call of Duty DLC. She ends up in Destiny Park. Think Disneyland, except people are actually allowed to die on the premises. The Arcana rule here, and instead of handing out Mickey ears, they're making magical bargains that could rewrite your entire life.
If you like your fantasy with crime scenes, existential dread, and just enough chaos to make you question your own horoscope, Turns of Fate lands November 11th. Bring snacks, salt, and a backup salt, just in case this one gets sucked out.
Moving away from the Arcana now and closer to the nerdier side of the fantasy spectrum, The Princely Mistakes, the final book in the Ether Revival series, just dropped. But instead of trying to pitch you book 11, let's rewind to where it all started with Ether's Blessing. Every year, the Empire holds a ceremony to find out who's been blessed by Ether. Those lucky enough get shipped off to an academy where half the students learn spells and the other half learn how to dodge them. Our protagonist, Gregory, just wants to be a magi like the legends. Unfortunately, his dad's unsupportive, his village thinks he's delusional, and statistically he's got about a 50-50 chance of making it to the second term.
If you're craving a long series which rewards commitment and character growth in equal measure, then Ether's Blessing could be your pick. Next up, we're trading spell academies for something far more dangerous: feelings.
A Bridge Through Time by Jenny Vale is a time travel romance set in the Scottish Highlands. I really need to stop doing the Scottish. I'm not good at a Scottish accent. Our heroine, Ashley Moore, aptly named, lives in modern day San Francisco where things are going badly. She keeps seeing the same mysterious grey-eyed man everywhere, which is either destiny or a restraining order waiting to happen. Naturally, she hops on a plane to Scotland, wanders across a fog-covered bridge, and promptly falls into the 16th century, straight into the arms of Caelan McBain, a handsome Highlander with commitment issues and zero concept of Wi-Fi. Sorry, I had to do it again. I had to do it for Caelan McBain. I'm sorry. I am sorry. From there, it's love, swords, and old-time Scottish accents. It's not. It says antics. I said accents. From there, it's love, swords, and old-time Scottish antics.
So if you like your romance with fog, fate, and a side of temporal whiplash, A Bridge Through Time is available now. Next comes the second book in a series that is releasing faster than most people finish their current TBR. That being said, everything happens faster than most people finishing their current TBR, am I right?
The Artifactor series by Marcus Cass launched in July, continued in October, and will wrap up its 4-book run in January 2026. It all started with The Living Stone. This one's for fans of big ideas, magical engineering, and protagonists who treat alchemy like a lifestyle. Our hero is a master artifactor who is resurrected in the body of a scandalous young noble who immediately decides the best way to celebrate is by annoying half the aristocracy while reinventing magic tech from scratch. With a 4.7 average rating across over 100 reviews that have been posted in the last 3 months alone, The Living Stone clearly hits the mark for progression fantasy fans, and the most exciting part is it's available right now.
So before I get on to the next one, don't forget to let us know in the comments if you have found any hidden gems, and that way we can get the community talking about books that they don't usually talk about.
Diving right back in, we've got another complete series. The Legacy series by Melissa Rorich comes to an end on 25th of November with the release of Dawn of Chaos and Fury. But in case you've not even started, let's take a look at the first book in the series, Reign of Shadows and Endings. This one opens on a world the gods quite literally forgot. They built it, blessed it, and then they swore never to interfere again, which, to be fair, is like me on every single game of Sims. But unlike my gaming habits, this led to a realm called Devram, where divine children, called the Legacy rule, and the Fae are forced into servitude through something charmingly named the Selection. Every 5 years, eligible Fae are chosen to serve the heirs of the Six Kingdoms. Our heroine, Tesselena Zura, somehow ends up as the personal source to the Heir of Endings, essentially the broodiest prince in the darkest kingdom. What follows is a blend of forbidden attraction, divine secrets, and more emotional turmoil than a week's worth of BBC period dramas.
If you like your fantasy with passion, power plays, and heartbreak, Reign of Shadows and Endings starts with all of the above.
Wicked Dove by K.C. Keane is book 1 in the Institute 13 series, and it starts with the protagonist Elodie killing someone. Not exactly on purpose, not exactly by accident. Either way, our heroine is hauled off to the Sanctum, a magical council that decides the fate of every supernatural being, and sentenced to the one place nobody survives with their sanity intact: Institute 13. We're talking a crumbling fortress filled with everything you'd rather not share a dorm with. Shadow Fae, feral wolves, vampires with anger management issues, and somehow she's one of them. She doesn't know what she is yet, only that something inside her broke the night of that murder, and there is no fixing it. Wicked Dove is a dark fantasy academic romance with a 4.4 rating and plenty of bite.
Perfect if you like your magic institutions morally questionable and your protagonist one bad day away from snapping again. Next up, something for the world builders, the gamers, and anyone that wishes that respawning was a valid life choice.
Spawn Point is the first in the New Eternity series by C.R. Rowanson and Michael Anderle, and it opens with a countdown to immortality. Our heroine, Toffer, has one shot at becoming an external, basically an immortal adventurer who hops between worlds inside the singularity. But to earn that title, she's got to survive something called
the Trial of Wires, which sounds less like a rite of passage and more like the world's worst electrical safety course.
She succeeds, sort of. Her reward is a gorgeous new planet full of danger, mystery, and absolutely zero welcome. Within minutes, she's been outed as different, sentenced to death, and forced to team up with the only creature willing to help: a sarcastic, perpetually hungry serpent made of vines and leaves. Together, they're racing to stop a threat that could wipe out Toffer's new home before she's even finished unpacking.
If you like stories about survival, sentient plant snakes, and worlds where dying just means trying harder next time, Spawn Point is ready to be loaded to your imagination. Put on the kettle for the next one. We're going all cozy vibes with Tales from Midwinter Haven. Author Jenny Sandiford's books seem like the perfect match for the holidays, and as I'm a sucker for the holidays, I thought I would pitch both.
First up, Winterfrost Market. We follow Elsie, who runs her family's travelling tea house at the market until her mum goes missing on a journey to Midwinter Haven, which, according to legend, is full of elves, witches, and other super cool magical stuff, which is exactly where I'd want my mum to go missing. Not that I'd want her to go missing, but if she did go missing, it would be to go there. So, Elsie teams up with Kit, a suspiciously handsome tracker who may or may not be a Fae prince in disguise. Then, as the second standalone in the series, we've got Frosthaven Bakery. It's Great British Bake Off with vampires. And I get that wasn't on this year's bingo card, but you're welcome. Our main character, Valentine, never expected to become a vampire, and certainly not one who owns a bakery. But here he is, undead, overcaffeinated, and contractually bound to the Earl who turned him. His only hope for freedom is winning Midwinter Haven's legendary baking competition. Because apparently, nothing says liberation like a perfectly tempered ganache. Things are going well until an arrogant Fae prince named Anders ruins his signature dessert. It's the sort of meat disaster that can only lead to forced teamwork and mild peril. Soon, the pair are knee-deep in magical pastry, unearthing a secret that could topple both their kingdoms. And yes, they're falling for each other in the process.
So if you want to feel all warm and comfy inside, then maybe this is the series for you. Of course, deciding which one of these you want to read often leans on whether you know which tropes you like, and if you haven't figured that out yet, then why not check out this video where I break down the top 7 tropes in fantasy. So you can go ahead and click on that right now. I'll wait. You still here? It's going to be a long day.